Hello everybody and welcome. I am the Beta Plan and this is Vampire the Masquerade, Coteries of New York. A visual novel by Draw Distance, set in the world of darkness using the RPG system version that I prefer the best of the Vampires RPG, the Masquerade version. Now, as we are all awaiting the highly anticipated sequel to the classic Vampire the Bloodlines by Troika Games, aka Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2 by Paradox Interactive, I thought let's play a different game, because that game's release date is still set for 2020 somewhere, and we still haven't got an exact release date. So I decided, you know what, I want to get a little fix, I want to get me a little dark fantasy, which I tend to do on this channel anyways, but yeah, I want to get myself a little bit of dark fantasy, more RPG-like. So why not let's do this visual novel by Draw Distance, as said. This was released on the 11th of December 2019, so yes, I'm a little bit late to the party, but not super late, I would say myself. Having said that, I have managed to, for myself, not to spoil anything, so please refrain from that in the comments, but if you do like my style, do leave a like if you do so, and if you don't like it, by all means, feel free to leave a dislike, it's all up to you. Should you be interested in this game, it is available on Steam, and in fact, should you be very interested in this game, Draw Distance has actually announced on the 25th of June, well, I don't know if it's a sequel, but another game, a visual novel, called Vampires the Masquerade, Shadows of New York, so maybe it will be tied into the stories, I do not know, but it might be interesting for you. Now, before I continue with this game, I would like to say that this is very interesting for me, a visual novel with dynamic backgrounds. We've played visual novels before on this channel, and not all of them had visual enhancements like this, I would say, and I love it. Now, another thing that is very important and that I would like you to hear is that because I have a channel, I need to put it soft enough so that you can hear my voice over the music, but oh my, the music. Of course, now the music dies out at the moment that I say that, but I feel that if I see this background and I listen to this music, and there it comes up again, it really sets the right atmosphere, and I like that, because in a visual novel, it is all about atmosphere, it's about the story, and the story is always what I feel is the best. I prefer RPGs with a strong story rather than a lot of combat systems, and certainly for a visual novel you have to have a good story, and for a good story, atmosphere and surroundings is very important, and I think this game does tick that box, so I am quite excited to play this and get myself a little bit of vampire fix. But so that you can hear my lovely voice, at least I hope you find it lovely enough, let us turn it back. Now, I did start up the game very shortly because I wanted to test out some settings, mainly regarding where the text was. Now I'm gonna go with text size small, don't worry, I will read it all out loud, but I've noticed that if I put it on medium, unfortunately a lot of the boxes they roll down in order to have all the text in the box, and that's just annoying to me, and I prefer to have it in the middle, apparently. My weird choice, but hopefully you will agree with it. So we're gonna go with we're gonna choose a save slot, yes we're gonna override it, and yes I'm gonna go with, well, the Toreador, because let's face it, I'm a content creator, we are artists, I would hope to think. But yeah, Bruja, I know a friend that would always play Bruja because he is the nonconformist in the extreme, which is of course this. And then we have of course the Ventru, the people that lead, and I do like that that is a lady, because, well, ladies at the top are already very few and present, so awesome that this game actually puts the Ventru as the lady. Love that. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Toreador. It's just the way I like to roll. The divas seek thrills of art, romance and cruelty amidst stagnant undev. A tormented artist will join their ranks today. Today. I apologize. That is a faux pas. And yes, I will go with Lamar because my own true name just doesn't fit this person, and I look nothing alike. I don't have this cool look, so you know what? Lamar it will be. New York! That's not in the middle. I found it annoying that it was out of center, but okay, whatever. New York taught me to believe in fate. Oh, maybe they put it here in the center, that's what they mean, instead of at the top. I guess I misjudged that. I thought I knew and understood, but let's forget about it. Let's dive into the game. I've destroyed this intro. Had you asked me about fate back when I was human, I would have told you it's just superstitious bullshit. That we are all designers of our own destinies. That belief shattered when the richest woman in the United States, the actual richest one, not a face you could have seen in the papers of course, sank her teeth deep into my neck. It happened in the very same place you're standing in right now, by the way. Fate? You decide. Please, there's absolutely no need to be hostile. Just listen a little longer. See, my mistake was that I flew too close to the sun. It makes sense that my punishment was to never see it glow again. See its glow again. I was incandescent myself. I was hot shit. I had it all. Money, looks, confidence, connections, men, women, a career, and a spark in my eye. The one you need to be born with. And that's when someone far more powerful than me saw my radiance and thought, that won't do. She robbed me of the light erupting from within and gave me a subtle, enduring gleam in its place. She decided that would fit me much better. Now here I feel a little bit like, that feels more like a Nosferatu thing to me. They like to bring people from the top down, as we see in Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines, but I thought more that Toreador wanted to preserve beauty. And that is kind of weird to me, but perhaps I am not me yet, and we'll see about that in a moment. She was a 9th generation kindred just like you here, an apex predator, so I'm already a vampire, so am I the one that's going to create me? Because it's said that an artist will join their ranks tonight. So a human that needs to be joined into the ranks of the kindred. But here she speaks to this person speaking to me, as if I am already vampire, so mystery. She probably enjoyed teaching me the peak of human excellence, my real place in the food chain. It's such an eyesore when you look at some loudmouth braggart and see them for all they really are. The temptation to teach them a lesson can be unbearable, right? Well, my sire's lesson was a lesson about fate, a message saying you're eternally doomed to be at the mercy of your sovereigns. It almost drove me to destroy myself. What saved me was the ability to reinterpret her teachings. Hers wasn't a message of doom, it was a message of hope. Fate exists, and one can shape it if given the right tools. My sire didn't believe my tools were fitting for the job. She considered them toys and me just her amusing subject. Well, she's deader than dead now, and I'm still here, standing right where she stood when we first met. You might have wondered how I've learned about your arrival to John F. Kennedy Airport. My answer is, of course, destiny. As luck would have it, today happened to be a day some of my associates were inspecting the coffins. Driving you here straight from the plane and having you wake up in such an unfamiliar place was a little desperate, and I do apologize for it. But it is so rare for you to visit New York. 3 times in the last 15 years, was it? And you're never eager to inform me you're here. I understand you still have that meeting on 53rd Street later tonight, so I'll provide you a comfortable transport. I value our relationship very much, don't get me wrong. But it is precisely because I value it that I'm going to ask you to repay the favor you owe me. You're the only one I trust to do the job well, and without attracting attention. You might think I'm crazy asking you to breach the rules of our society like this. You might think it's impossible to get away with it unpunished. But this is New York, and I don't know about other cities, but in this one, fate really exists. I think that is dependent upon who you ask in which city. And right now, it's smiling in your favor. Ooh, change the scene. This is how it begins. You stifle a yawn. A yawn. A yawn? Please apologize me for my extremely poor English at the moment. I guess I have been hypnotized. It's been a slow evening. The little bit of red liquid left in your glass and the crumbs on the plate remind you that, if nothing else, these art exhibitions at least come with some decent wine and legit catering. And yeah, it's fun to talk about your work on display, even if you end up discussing it with pretty much the same people at each such occasion. You've already met the one critic who keeps telling you, with self-assured authority, how you should pursue a different artistic venue. Then there's the obligatory dew-eyed artist student who oh so impressed with your technique. To be fair, you're not all that happy with your latest piece, but hey, it's not the worst thing you've seen tonight. That ignoble, dubious honor belongs to one of the other paintings on display. And yet its author, currently being paraded around by his rich parents, has barely been able to grab a bite of the fancy bites. I don't know how to pronounce this word. So many sycophants to meet, so little time. For a moment you think that maybe it's not worth it. Maybe you should take the critic's advice, cut your losses and sell out to some corporation and get it over with. And, as if the universe wanted to validate that train of thought, that's the exact moment your sister Emma decided to pop up in your view. So let me get this straight. Cushy corporate jobs are selling out, but supporting a billionaire's vanity project is totally fine with you? You already absolutely despise her as an artist. While you're struggling to uphold some nebulous ideas of what art is meant to be, she's perfecting her ways of mooching off the system. Shamelessly preying on little-known street art and niche internet memes, she repackaged them and burgy-friendly Okay, the wording is, I have to get used to this again, this has been a while. She repackages them as burgy-friendly colleges. So it's perhaps no wonder the New York Times has recently dubbed her a mind-blowing explorer of digital art's extreme possibilities. But in spite of all that, you absolutely love her as a person. Even as you welcome her by smacking the back of her head, a gesture meant to convey nothing but deep affection. No, but seriously, supporting a young artist? My ass. I don't know what kind of money you've got for this piece, but I doubt it was even a fraction of what it's going to be worth in tax benefits. The gallery owner actually said that he had to choose this most valuable audience, it would be the IRS, and I'm pretty sure he was only half kidding. You mumble a non-answer and then seg into a different subject. I thought it always was pronounced a segue, but perhaps English here does weird again. Trying to preemptively quell her repeated offers to get you a steady job. Of course, she proves as insistent as ever. You know, sometimes I just don't get you. On the one hand, you wouldn't be caught dead taking money from the inevitable winner of the culture wars. On the other hand, if someone gave you the chance to collaborate on some dumbass Oscar bait flick sponsored by Larry Ellison's bailout fund, you do that shit for free. She rolls her eyes and asks, you know what the only difference is between the art scene and the cultural industry? The cultural industry actually pays you bills. Pays your bills. Whatever. It don't matter. As expected of someone who's given up on attempts to infuse her work with any sort of enduring quality and decided to just keep responding to the zeitgeist. The time spirit, by the way, which this is a German word. Zeitgeist. She claims to happily accept the fact that after she dies, both she and her work will end up on a landfill. Or in a landfill, please. I know I'm mispronouncing words there. You quickly read over it. It doesn't really matter, right? But yeah. When you respond that you prefer chasing a 1 million chance to immortalize yourself, she claims to She claims it reeks of an overinflated ego. It's kind of funny, by the way, that of the dynamic portals, this one is very little dynamic. You just see a little bit of lighting effect over here. I'm not sure if that's... Let me just check for a moment. You can see that on the recording. That's good. I try to record in a good enough definition for you guys, but this one, yeah, why not have people walk by or something? I don't know. That would have been more dynamic to me. Now it seems a little, I don't know. Still. But you've been down the road too many times before and managed to accept she'll never understand what's truly important to you. Slowly but surely, you move on to more agreeable topics. Your plans to finally get hammered together. All the more... Your plans to finally get hammered together? Oh, hammered to get drunk together. Now I get it. All the most recent crop of garbage Netflix shows your friends have tricked you into trying out. Alright, gotta go. I've got a date. Hey, you said we were going to drinking, sis. I don't agree with that. She peeks at a bunch of middle-aged men in expensive suits who have stopped pretending to care about the exhibition and are exchanging the worst lecherous jokes they've got in their still repertoire. Have fun with your friends, class traitor. Sis, if somebody was a traitor, it was you. You went to the whatever. She gives you a hug and heads for a nearby elevator. There goes the pleasant part of the evening. Still, you decide to delay the inevitable and catch a quick smoke break. Truth to be told, people aren't exactly lining up to chat about your work anyway. As you leave your post, you start tapping your pockets in the search of a lighter. Horrible habit, by the way. Instead, you find a $100 bill you're absolutely sure wasn't there before. Jesus Christ, Em, you're the worst. And the best. You can feel your cheeks turn red, but you gratefully put the money in your wallet and move outside. Yeah, that's definitely not Ventru material. When you reach the balcony, you look out at New York City and light the second last cigarette left in the pack. You're alone. It's not silent. The metropolitan hum is ever present, even this high up. But it's a good deal more intimate than what's behind your back. You lean over the railing and look down. The streetlights beckon more than usual. In your mind's eye, you see yourself as your final artwork, beautifully splattered all over the pavement. Working title? Delusion of Grandeur. The author? A brilliant artistic soul, crushed by the unfeeling reality gone too soon. You chuckle and flick the cigarette into the air. Freshened up by the night's cool breeze, you squeeze back into the stuffy interior. You barely make it a few steps before Lafarge sets back in. It's like you never left. Still, something in the room feels different. Your eyes are drawn to the handsome young man, neatly dressed and groomed, exuding the air of a true artiste. And the best part? He's looking intently at your painting. The gallery is almost like an art installation itself now. People standing in silent awe. The guy like a beacon drawing everybody's attention. Hushed conversation about the guest can be heard from every corner of the gallery. Not what I would say as a perfect cover as a vampire. I believe you don't want that much attention to yourself. It is always why I personally had a lot of problems with the start of the Twilight series. The four children always sitting together being so beautifully, at least described by the main character, and that just made me go like, what? But okay. I'm diverting from the game. Your heart is pounding with excitement, and you approach feeling like a kid trying to get close to a deer in the woods, but afraid you'll scare it away. The man turns to you, and you stop in your track, entranced. So, this is one of your pieces? You manage to mumble an affirmation. Sorry. Tell me about it, please. As you start discussing your inspiration, technique and process, the man's eyes lock into the painting again. He keeps interjecting and making knowing remarks. This guy gets it. He really gets it. The world around you disappears. You'll say anything, do anything to keep his attention on you. But you realize you don't need to. He's into your art. He's into you. Oh, has he... Don't tell me he's used a little bit of blood to have that much attention on you. Oof. I want to buy it. And I want your company. I need to talk to you. You will like what I have to say. Spoken matter-of-factly, served straight up. Like he knows that you won't refuse. That you can't refuse. An hour later you find yourself at his apartment. One of the many, you presume. With your self-esteem all but patched up and your head full of fine vintage. You tell your host a lot. In fact, it seems like you're telling him everything. Where you came from, how you ended up in New York City, how you had to take out a loan to appear at tonight's event, how you took the long look down the balcony. That you thought about taking the plunge and this time, you were only half joking. You feel miserable, you start crying. He holds you in his arms. You feel calmer, the tears stop flowing. It's been so long since you last had someone you could not just talk to but communicate with, be seen by. Who knows? Maybe there's hope for you yet. The feeling of bliss is the last thing you remember before passing out. Next thing you know, you're lying on the couch in that same apartment, hungry and dehydrated. How long has it been? Hours? Days? More? You're feeling weak, confused, abandoned. You look around in a panic. Is he still here? Thank God, yes. There he is, standing in the doorway. His voice breaks the silence and fills you with hope, until you realize what he is saying. I am sorry. I hope that maybe one night you will forgive me. Always remember that in our parting moment, I wished you well. You try to speak, ask him to stay, but no voice leaves your parched throat. You taste something on your lips. Wiping your mouth leaves a crimson stain on your hand. It's not wine. What the fuck? The door of the apartment closes behind him. Alone. Again. Then the pain hits. It's a headache, a lurching in your stomach, a burning in your arms and legs. It is all you can focus on. A panic takes you. You fall from the sofa and hit a wine glass. It flies off into the wall, scattering into bits. A mumble from the corner of the room indicates that you're not as alone as you thought. From where you're lying, you only see a feminine shape, stirring awake. You crawl towards the woman, inch by inch. The pain turns into an urge. You need to get close to her. You begin to see details. The long hair shrouding her face. The worn out New York City hoodie thrown over her skimpy dress. She opens her eyes, moves her locks to the side, and exposes her neck. A rabid instinct takes you. In the blink of an eye, you find yourself buried in her hair, smelling her sweet mixed with just a hint of cheap perfume. Smelling her sweat, by the way. You bite down and drink the blood from her vein. Wait. What is happening? You break away. You look at the girl. She lets out a sigh, goes limp and unconscious again. You try to crawl back, her dress rolled up to the side, and you glance at her naked thigh. You lose control again. Bite her leg. Drink deep from the artery. It's intoxicating. It's bliss like you've never known before. It's beautiful. You break away again, fall to your back. What the hell was that? Did you really drink her blood? She's not moving. Oh God, she's not moving. You check her pulse. She's cold to the touch. Nothing. No heartbeat. No sign of breathing. That's when it hits you. Your chest isn't moving either. Your heart is not beating. You're cold to the touch. You reach for your phone. It's not there. Where did you leave it? Or maybe he took it? Impossible to say. You stumble around the apartment but find nothing you can use to call for help. You need to get out of here. Now. You look outside the window. You're high above the street. There's no balcony and the building's exterior glass is almost all the way down. You'd never survive the jump. Well, maybe that's precisely why you should leave this room this way. You've just killed somebody. Your life is essentially over. A sickening void is opening in your stomach, warning you that your reality is about to turn into unbearable hell. A voice in the back of your head tells you that the smartest course of action is to take the leap before it does. And the more you argue with it, the more reasonable it sounds. You're just about ready to pick up one of the chairs and try to break the window when you hear the clinking of keys in the lock. You freeze in place. This is bad. Your thoughts start racing desperately, but instead of a rational course of action, only visions of false hope come to your mind. What if it's him? What if he's had a change of heart? What if he sent someone for me? You almost feel your heart beat again with excitement as the door opens. Almost. But not quite. A man enters, but not the one you expected. He's tall, broad-shouldered, handsome, with darkish skin. His suit is stylish and immaculate. You've never seen him in your life, but you immediately see past his sharp looks to see his sharper nature. He is a predator, and if you're not careful, you might become his prey. Good evening. I'm here to pick you up. A deep, emotionless voice. Oh, I did that more or less right. I will try to do it even better. He turns his eyes to the lifeless body of the girl in the New York City hoodie and raises an eyebrow. Well, we are a bit in a panic-like state. This is not right, because we're panicked. I'm just gonna say this isn't what it looks like. Ah, there we are. This isn't what it looks like. Please, you have to help me. That is what I'm here for, after a fashion. He approaches the bed to examine the corpse from up close. Sorry that if sometimes, by the way, my mic spikes, but because I use a voice for him that's very soft, I don't know if you can even hear the difference. In my when I am a DM for my D&D group or for the vampire group and stuff, people love that every NPC that is in my world has reasons and reasoning and a voice that I try to emulate. Now, of course, not every voice is as distinct as the other ones, but yeah, I don't know how well this mic will pick up everything, but that also leaves me to put the mic very close to my actual mouth, so it may also spike at times. Well, that is unfortunate, but preferably to going insane from hunger. Quite a nice gesture, actually, if troublesome. He briefly looks at you with something like pity in his eyes, then changes his expression to a perfectly blank one. Listen, you may perceive your current situation as something out of the ordinary, but I've met hundreds of lost sheep like you. And you see, they tended to fall into two categories. First, there were the smart ones. Those who carefully obeyed my every word and didn't pull off any stupid stunts. They always got where they needed to go safe and sound. Then there were the dumb ones. The punks who thought they could take me on. The wise guys who tried to contact somebody secretly and without permission. The troublemakers who tried to run off or make a scene. None of them got to their destination in one piece. In fact, a lot of them never reached their destination at all. The man talks in a bored, professional tone, giving off an impression that he really has delivered this speech countless times by now. So you see, despite being a smart person, I'm a Mets fan. I love baseball, and it inspired me to come up with a free strikes system to determine if someone is dumb. If you get on my nerves 1 or 2 times, well, I understand. Not all of us perform well in stressful circumstances. But if you do it 3 times, understand that there will be no excuse, no forgiveness, and no mercy. His presence changes ever so slightly. Say, I understand, sir. Now, you feel an overwhelming, barely resistible urge to fulfill his demand. Well, barely resistible urge to fulfill his demand. I'm not gonna say fuck you, sir. That is a little too. I'm high on the stress, so I'm first gonna go with the. What are you talking about? Can you just tell me what's going on here? No, and that is your first strike. All right. Have you got anyone you'd like to inform about your current situation and tell them you're all right? He flashes his fangs briefly as he talks, and for some reason the sight causes a chill to run down your spine. Something's wrong with him. Someone close to you? Someone closest to you? Not running away and not gonna lie. I'm gonna say my sister? Emma. My sister. She's probably having a night out in Brooklyn with her artist friends. Can I call her now? You take out your phone without asking a question. It was in your pocket all along. It must have been panicked and talking before. He shakes his head and points at the hooded corpse next to him. If you want to implicate her, go ahead. I think we'll all be better off if you let me make sure that she only knows what she needs to know. Yeah, that's probably right. I agree. Give me your phone number. I'll have someone get in touch with her. You oblige and hand him the smartphone so he can copy the number from your list of contacts. Thank you. This will be useful in illustrating my next point. Instead of giving you back your phone, the man hides it in his pocket. From this night onward, you are subject to different laws than the ones you grew up with. And you'll be watched by many eyes to ensure that these laws are respected. You are forbidden from letting anybody you know you're still alive. You're forbidden from showing your face anywhere they know you. If anyone comes to search for you, it's over. Both for you and them. He interrupts his monotone recitation to stare deep into your eyes. So if you don't want someone to find your poor sister's body in the Hudson River next week, cooperate. The sight of his fangs again and another physical fight or flight response, you've played right into his hands, putting M in danger. I can only hope that you care for her enough not to do anything selfish. By now you are absolutely sure he's just toying with you, provoking you just to feed on your reactions. He hasn't told you where you're going yet, but he's already made it abundantly clear that a lot of people struggled hard to avoid getting there. You'd be far more eager to cooperate if he never raised the subject, but he made it a point to make you fear the unknown. He's pushing you, but to what end? Does he want to intimidate you into complete submission? Is he hoping you give him an excuse to get rid of you? Or maybe he's testing you, forcing you to show what you're made of. Somehow he makes all those options seem plausible at once. Alright, I think that's enough lectures for today. He takes a glance at the silver watch. It's a Patek Philippe, the kind of brand mere mortals never see outside of a luxury lifestyle magazines. Just who are you dealing with here? It's past 3 AM now. The sun will come up in just a few hours, so we don't have much time. Come. We need to leave so that the corpse can be taken care of. He turns his back on you to unlock the door. Yeah, I'm just gonna head out, because whatever, we have to follow this dude. He knows M. So we're in deep trouble for my sister. He knows I've killed. So attacking him from the back, considering how our body reacts to him, bad idea. Waiting for the police, I'm just gonna get incriminated now and doo-doo. So I'm gonna head out. Okay. You obediently follow him out of the room before he locks it again. You manage to take a final glimpse at the corpse. You feel a pang of conscience, but not because of your victim's horrible fate. It's because you don't feel guilty, even though you know you should. Something important inside of you that was still there yesterday has definitely died tonight. You wonder if you'd even recognize yourself in the mirror. The stranger shows you the elevator. You go to the ground floor. During an awkward ride, your dazed and confused mind desperately searches for a glimmer of hope, and eventually comes across one. Maybe you'll find the man you met earlier this night. And I think with that, with us leaving the apartment and going to question of that, it's time to end the episode. I hope you enjoyed this first episode. Let me know in the comments. Once again, leave a like if you like it. Leave a dislike if you dislike it. I mean, it's all up to you. And if this was the first time you ever reached my channel, then hi, welcome. And as always, I say thank you for watching. And remember, great peril yields great beauty.